Last but not least, I saw an article that mentioned the idea of a Lauri Markkanen to the Los Angeles Lakers trade. Now, I know what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are hearing this part of the podcast and they're sighing extremely loud into their earphones, extremely loud on the bus ride, on the car ride to work, because they're like, here goes another trade, another hypothetical trade for a player that's supposed to help bolster the Los Angeles Lakers roster because everybody and their mama wants the Lakers to be good. And here's a player that's playing well on a team that's not that good that would maybe be a great asset for this roster, right? And you're right. There's a little bit of there's a lot of bit of that in this, right? And again, this is a podcast that's not very West Coast biased. I try my best not to cover teams like the Lakers, uh, the Clippers, the Warriors. I try not to over discuss those teams because I feel like mainstream media already does a great job of kind of shoving that down the throats of NBA fans on a day-to-day basis. So I try to give other teams like the Spurs, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, like the Memphis Grizzlies, like the Charlotte Hornets we discussed the other day. I try to give those other teams their flowers. But this Lakers team, they need real help, especially with LeBron James being out with his sciatica issue and being somebody that either way, even if he were healthy, this team really needs perimeter shot creation and it needs a little bit more size in that front court because of the fact that, to be quite honest, DeAndre Ayton is a talent in theory, but he's still a guy that I feel like is not necessarily the answer for the Lakers in terms of that, that guy to help round out their starting five. I really don't know if Lauri Markkanen is a five in this league, but I've seen him play the three, the four, and the five, whether it's with the Chicago Bulls, whether it's been with the Cleveland Cavaliers, or it's been with the Utah Jazz. So this article is essentially a trade proposal in which it says Lauri Markkanen may tie up the future cap sheets if the Lakers were to trade for him, but he's an ideal starting forward to pair next to Dončić at age 28, is in the prime of his career. The 7-footer can knock down threes, put the ball on the floor, and isn't afraid to dunk over opponents in traffic. With or without James in the lineup, Markkanen would be a huge add for a Lakers team that needs to keep pace with squads like the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets in the West. A Luka Lauri Markkanen combination would be so lethal because of the inside out game that they present in a way that's kind of similar to the theory that the Atlanta Hawks are trying to adopt with bringing in Kristaps Porzingis to put next to Trae Young. See, very similar to Trae Young, Luka Dončić, outside of, you could say, that time frame that he played with Kristaps Porzingis, has not played with a floor spacing big, like an elite level 37, 38% three-point shooter floor spacing big, or a big that can step out of the perimeter, ball handle a little bit, put the ball on the floor, be an elite level slasher. Like, he's always played with rim finishers. That's been his thing. Since being drafted, that's the one mainstay at the center position, is that the Luka Doncic led teams have always been placed Clint Capella types, right? Because the Luka Doncic James Harden comparisons were so evident in the early portions of his career. They've always tried to put those Clint Capella types around him, right? Like, for example, Daniel Gafford. I would say to a lesser degree, or you could say on a similar notion, Derek Lively, right? I think Derek Lively is a better passer, but I think as a rim finisher, like, that's his main thing. He's not a floor spacer, neither is Daniel Gafford, neither is DeAndre Ayton. And although Lauri is more of a 3-4 than he is a 5, I do think that his ability to put the ball on the floor, his ability to space the floor, his ability to operate in pick and roll operations with someone like Luka Dončić gives the Lakers, and more so gives Dončić, this new dynamic offensively that he's never played with before, and gives them something they desperately need, which is somebody else who can put real rim pressure on opponents and teams on a regular basis. Because this team, the Lakers, one thing they're really, really bad at, I think, more than anything, and it's kind of a glaring hole for a team that already is not really a great 3-point shooting team, is they're not really good at putting pressure on the basket. They don't really have anybody that's insanely great outside of Luka and LeBron when he's healthy. And even LeBron last year was a much higher volume 3-point shooter than he's ever been in his career. They don't have a ton of guys that put a great deal of pressure on the rim. And I think that someone like Markkanen, he has the talent and the ability as an on-ball player that again has had this versatility of playing. I think he's 6'10", 6'10", 6'11", somewhere around there. He's had the flexibility, or shown the flexibility there more so, to be able to play multiple positions on offense, 3, 4, and again, small ball 5. There's a world where I think his game with Luka Dončić could fit really well. Again, at age 28, he could still be a really good fit next to Luka, who's only, he's barely cracking his prime as it is, and it feels like he's been in the league so much longer than he actually has. This Lakers team needs to figure out what the future beyond LeBron James genuinely is. And how do they get to a Lauri Markkanen contract? I don't know. At some point, I will dedicate an episode to, just fake trades I find on the internet and like real trade packages that I think could help contextualize some of these conversations a little bit more for the Lakers. There's not a great deal that they can move off of besides the fact that I believe they have a 2031 pick. Obviously, they have Rui Hachimura. Jared Vanderbilt, when healthy, is solid. I don't know if Utah would want him back again. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe they had Jared Vanderbilt before. I could be wrong. I know he played for Minnesota. But still, nonetheless, he's very injury prone, so that might still be a reason why they might not want to trade for him. They don't have a ton of young talent, and maybe the trade piece is moving off of Austin Reeves. But I don't know if that's a great idea with the way he's playing right now. I think he literally leads the NBA in scoring at the moment. I don't know if that's sustainable. I actually highly doubt it's sustainable. But he is one of the best, third options in the league. So I don't necessarily know if you want to move off of him for Lauri Markkanen when the upside might not be that much different in terms of what they provide. I think Lauri does it a different way than Austin, but I don't know if the upside is that much different than Austin's. And the only benefit at that point is just that you wouldn't have to pay him, I guess. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below. Lauri Markkanen, Luka Dončić team up. What do you think that looks like? How good do you think it is? Does it make them one of the better duos in the league a season or two from now if LeBron James is no longer on the roster and these two are paired together in Lakers uniforms? Is that even the player that the Los Angeles Lakers should be going after? Or do you think there's somebody else that the Lakers feasibly, because a lot of Lakers fans can be delusional, feasibly can make a trade for? You guys let me know in the comment section down below. I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. And I'm not going to lie, I do plan on touching on a lot more of these fake trade proposals on the podcast. One, because it gives me something to do. Two, I think it gives me a good exercise along with you guys to think about how certain players will fit on a different team if the roster were to integrate them into whatever philosophy they're trying to go for. For example, with Lauri Markkanen and Luka Dončić, the idea is to create more rim pressure and to give Luka Dončić a pick and pop big as well, right? Something he's never really played with outside of Kristaps Porzingis. And seeing and really running those different ideas both through my head and also hearing feedback from you guys about how these fits work, I think it's just an interesting exercise. So I'll be doing this a little bit more often, and it helps fill out the episodes as well. Drop some fake trades or drop some Lakers trade targets that you think would be interesting in the comment section down below, and I'll be down there checking all that stuff out.